Hi and welcome back to the FreeFormKnits YouTube channel. I'm Haxann Evers, a knit and crochet who's FreeFormKnits Crafting loves the world to design. All the places you can find me are listed right down below this video. This is my channel where I talk about knitting, crochet, yarn hauls, reviews, my designs, all that fun stuff. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those future videos. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. We just recently hit 400 subscribers here and that's really amazing to me. I'm so grateful that so many of you take time out of your day to craft with me a little bit and hear me ramble about my crafts and failures of crafts. Yeah. So we are Wednesday the 21st of June, I think. June's really going by fast. So I do have some fun things to talk about this week, so we're gonna get right into the crafty goodness. Okay, just adjusted the camera a little bit there. I hate when there's too much space at the top of the camera, and yet I hate when there's not enough, so angles are a little weird, but luckily enough my crafting space and projects are in a good place this week. We're not a mess, so let's hope it stays that way. It probably won't, but I actually do have quite a few. I have two completely finished objects and one half finished object that you can see there. Every week I feel like after I podcast and it's getting closer to time where I want to podcast again, I feel like I haven't done a lot of crafting, and then I lay my projects out and I realize how close I am to like big milestones in each project. So I'm really happy with my progress this week, so we're gonna jump right into it. The first finished object was actually not a work in progress last week. It was something I talked about wanting to start, and it is another basic tee by Hooked on Homemade Happiness, a free pattern. I was wearing a version of this last week out of this blue ombre color, and this is just some scraps actually from my stash. Some cotton scraps. It's basically the same length. It's this pink is I Love This Cotton, and the blue is actually Knit Picks Dishy. And then I'm kind of on the fence about how I feel about this white. This white is, I don't even know where it came from, but it is a cotton type yarn. I thought it would be nice just to have like a little pop of color. And it does kind of look nice. It's kind of more of a sporty look than I would normally go for. Overall, actually, it's funny here. I did not care about my color management when I changed colors for the bottom. And I probably should have. I probably should have just done it under the arm or something. But it's right in the middle there, so there is a clear front and back. I actually made no modifications to this pattern this time. I think for my first one I omitted around the neckline, and I regretted that because I'm very paranoid about my necklines being too tight, so I usually omit around when I make any sort of sweater. But this one lays perfectly. It's like the perfect style for me, neckline style. I'm very particular about how I like my necklines. But, and I think I made the medium size. I think is the first or second size. I don't remember. I keep wanting to remember. I actually looked back at my podcast to see if I told you what size I made, and I never did. And so I had to figure it out, but I'm pretty sure it was the first or second size. Actually, I think it was the first size, and I was surprised it was the first size because the first size I think is a 34-inch bust, and I usually make a size up from that, but I stuck with it. I think that's right. I'm sorry if it's not, but I'm sorry to future me if it's not when I decide to make another one, because I love this top. I will admit I like my first version better because just the color looks better on me than this stripy solid color, but it's still very pretty, and I like how much I got that cotton yarn out of my stash and do something pretty. So that was a win this week. That was super quick. I love that top. I'll have the pattern linked in the description box below. Any patterns that I talk about will be linked down below, as well as links to other places you can find me and all that stuff. So that's one finished object, and then the other finished object was also not even cast on last time. I had this yarn in my stash. It was in this project bag until yesterday when I finished it. It was two sets of these Yarn Bee Sweet Minis in the Roses and Clouds. 3 minis, each 40 grams. So I had 240 grams because I had 2 sets of these. And I decided to, because I can't get yarn for my other crochet shawl, I still haven't gotten yarn for that yet, I have to do that. I decided to make another crochet shawl. And here it is. And this looks very simple, but let me tell you, it was quite the process to figure out what to do for this shawl. I really wanted to do like a really simple texture, but all the stitch patterns I was trying for this asymmetrical shape, I love asymmetrical shawls, making them because they're so easy to insert any kind of texture in because you only have to worry about increases along one side. but nothing was working, and I think that's because this yarn kind of reminds me of a Caron Simply Soft or like your Hobby Lobby Soft Secret line. And here's a very unpopular opinion for me as a person who works with acrylic yarns. I don't like Caron Simply Soft or Soft Secret yarn. I don't know, it's just 100% acrylic yarn, but the way they treat it or something, it just has this halo to it, and it's very, I find it like very loosely spun, and I don't know, it's all these things that I don't like about it, and I don't like working with it, and it's got this shine to it that makes it very hard for any sort of stitch pattern to show up in. I don't know, so I did not, it was a process to get this very simple stitch pattern, but I am very happy with it now because it's just super simple. It's just a 4-row repeat, and you get these beautiful little pops of stitch definition, and it is reversible. It's super fun. And I tried to use every bit of color from the minis. This is all just 240 grams. I'm doubting myself now but it is 120 for each mini set, so 240. I do have some left over because I couldn't get a full row out of the leftovers. And then I did do this fun little edging of the leftover gray, little scallops, so it's super pretty. I will put it on even though it's super hot up here. It's kind of like just the right length as an asymmetrical. Like I tend to make my asymmetrical shawls very short because they get very long, but it's like just the right length, and this isn't blocked, so I do anticipate it stretching a little bit, but I do love it. And my scallops, I do love a good crochet edge. I need to do more crochet edges in my life, and the ends are not moving in. It's not blocked yet, but it will be. And it's just super fun, super quick. I think I used a 5.5mm hook for this as well. I love a 5.5mm hook, I think, because that seems to be all I crochet on lately. It's such a nice texture, super squishy, and super mindless. So that's another finished object. That was a lot of crocheting alone. A shawl, a t-shirt, that's a lot. And I did more. There's more. Not of completely finished objects, but of half finished objects for this sock. So this is a new design. Don't know when it's going to be coming out and everything, but I just really wanted a nice textured sock, and I did it toe up. My ends are not woven in yet. I did kind of sew my toe in. I do like my lazy toe on cast on, toe up cast on. So I did finish it off, so you can get the full effect of the sock. It's so pretty. This yarn is Knit Picks Stroll in the Dogwood Heather colorway. Just a super simple knit purl texture. I do have my Knit Picks crystal stitch marker here to mark where my leg and foot end, and my shortcut heel done toe up. I'm so excited about having the toe up shortcut heel instructions available. And then I did do a sewn bind off, which I love doing a sewn bind off for toe up socks. I think it's perfect, it looks nice, and it's stretchy, but I hadn't done one in a long time, so I underestimated how much yarn I would need. I made it barely. I was debating when I cut the yarn for the sewn bind off, because I hate ending up with like so long and doing the sewn bind off. Like how to do the sewn bind off, you have to weave the yarn through the stitches. And I was so worried about having such a long tail because I hate that makes this one bind off so much longer and just gets tangled. But I could have left a little bit more for myself. But I made it, that's the important thing. So this sock is all done, and I will be honest, I debated on whether or not to start the second one right away because I kind of want to make another vanilla fingering sock. And on my sock, I only have 2 sock needles, and they're both like there was this one and then one that I haven't worked on in a while, but I was a good knitter and just started the second one. So this is the start of a little toe. I knit my socks on a 2.75mm US 2 Chow Glue needle, 40-inch cord, because I used to do 2-at-a-time socks, but I don't anymore, just because I don't take the proper precautions in preparing my yarn properly for 2-at-a-time socks. I find it better if I do it in separate cakes rather than the inside and outside of one cake. So that is done. Well, that started, it's not done, but this one's done. I have to put it in the sock bag, otherwise I will not work on it because I won't be able to look at my first sock and see how many rows I need to do. So, and I like that the yarn and bag match This is just a little bag I sewed myself. One of my first successful drawstring bags. It's got thread hanging off of it. What doesn't have thread hanging off of it? So put this blocker away. Before I forget, I did make one more Tunisian square for my Tunisian blanket. So I need to make the other one to finish off this mini skein. I love this color pink. I've been really wanting to make like a bright pink sweater. And I have quite a few pink sweaters already in my handmade wardrobe, but I want another one. And I honestly want to make a Tunisian sweater. Like, that's what I want to do, but I want to make it out of worsted, and I really should get another Tunisian hook, like one size up, because while I like this gauge, I think I would just prefer one size up, and I don't have that hook, so I need to do that. But I have all these ideas spinning in my head about a Tunisian sweater, so that's where my mind's been. But that's a square done, and then you have 2 projects left here. We'll start both of the sweaters. One is actually, I made a mistake in last week's podcast. I told you I was making the Claricity by Evelyn and Peter Crochet, I think it's called, or Evelyn and Peter Crochet, I don't know. But they have all these amazing patterns of all these amazing tops, and the Claricity is one of the tops I want to make, but it's not the one I'm currently making. They're both similar constructions, bottom up, done in panels, but the Claricity top has a boat neck, and I'm doing the Sweet Summer Tea, which has more of a V-neck. So that was a mistake I didn't realize until literally after I posted the podcast, was working on this and thought, wait a minute, I literally told you the wrong pattern. But it's okay, I do intend to make the Claricity top tee. I don't remember what it's called, but this is actually the Sweet Summer Tea, and I just finished the back panel. So in the pattern, they have like the rows, how many rows you should do for each size. I think I'm making the first size and the second size. I don't remember again, because I told you last week my gauge was different, so I had to play around with the size. But it's okay. I did whatever size has 86 stitches. So I did the back first because they only give you the rows for how long the panel should be, and my row gauge was very different. So if I did their recommended rows, it would have been very short. And I don't know if they have in the pattern, if they included how long it should measure from the shoulder to like the hip. I think they only included the underarm measurement, and that was confusing to me because I couldn't figure out then, with my row gauge being different, how many rows should I do, because I was supposed to do the front first, so I didn't know when I should split to go back and forth to get the next line shaping. So I decided to do the back first so I could decide how long I need it to be, and now I can just figure out the shaping from this, if that makes any semblance of sense. But super pretty. I am surprisingly enjoying this. There will be a couple of days where I won't work on it at all and I'll think like I should just frog it, but then I pick it up and I really like it, and it's super fast. So I'm doing it again on a 5.5mm hook out of fingering weight yarn. This is all I have left of the first skein. It's still quite a bit. I'll get quite a bit out of this. This is Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK. It's actually fingering. I don't know why it's listed as a DK. Oh, I think I do this every time. I don't know why it's listed as DK. I think I do know why it's listed as a DK. It's a stupid reason, but and yeah, just a plain gray, which led to my feelings that maybe I won't like working on it, but I do like working on it, and it will be, I think I will wear this top. And I did, again, I was a good girl. I started the front, so I couldn't give myself the excuse of not being able to work on it because I didn't start the front. So just one row and a little bit of the second row. That's all there is to say about that. But very nice, super happy with it. And it is making a really nice fabric. Like, it's very drapey. It'll be very lightweight to wear. Hopefully it all goes according to plan, because if you've been following along, then you know me and crochet tops, or just really any top in general, have not been getting along recently. Summer tops particularly, because I don't know why. Because apparently I can't read a pattern, because apparently I make mistakes. I don't know. A lot of things. But on that note, I do have one last work in progress, and it is another top, but it's a knitted top. And I'm really excited about this. So I have in my stash these 3 skeins of DK yarn, and they're very similar in color because apparently I only buy certain colors. this pink, this like lilac, this speckled. They're all very similar. So I decided I added them up. I think I have a total of 150 grams, a little bit more than that, out of this, and I added another color. I don't have the skein, it's all the way over there. And I'm going to make a top, and I'm doing helical knitting. If you don't know what helical knitting is, it's basically a way to get one row stripes without having to pick up a strand every color. How it works is you divide all your stitches by many colors as you're using. So I'm using 3 colors, so I divided all my stitches by 3, and you have a yarn at each section, and then when you get to that section, you pick up that yarn for that section, you go to the next section, so all your yarns are swapping sections all the time. I really don't know how it works. I usually pride myself on, like, when I learn a stitch pattern, like, oh, this is how it works, like the yarn over goes here and the decrease goes here and it makes this pattern. I literally have no idea how this works. Like, it's so cool. And I've done a little bit of it before, only with 2 colors. This is my first time doing 3. And I watched the tutorial by Pearl Soho, which I highly recommend if you were looking to do helical knitting, because just the way she angles her camera to show you the yarns and how she swaps them, it just makes it really clear, and it's a really great tutorial. So I came up with the numbers for this little raglan top myself. It's all my own pattern, and it's really fun to work on. Our dog is barking at the door, so I apologize for that, but here's the top. And from far away you can't see, like, the reason I picked these colors was because they were so close, and doing them in these stripes you probably won't be able to tell that it's 3 different colors, but if you get up close you can kind of see in the right lighting, probably not in this lighting, but maybe you can kind of see like the pale stripe. It's just, they're doing such a good job of blending together. I'm so happy with it. And I did do this blue for the, I'm going to use for the edging on all of it, on the short sleeves and the hem. I do anticipate running out of at least one of the colors, this middle color. I have a lot less of this than of these 2, but that'll be okay because it'll go to the bottom of the top and it'll just like it'll look intentional. So it's super fun. It is a little bit, I've only worked on this like 2 days in a row and I've gotten far. I would have worked on it more, but I do prefer to lay my yarn out like on a hard surface so I can avoid them getting twisted, because that drives me crazy. But it's just a vanilla top. You know, raglan increases, super fun. I believe I'm using 8 needles, US 8 5mm, and this is DK yarn, so it makes a nice fabric, nice and loose. And it'll just be like, it'll be the similar shape to the basic top, but a raglan instead of a circular yoke. So it's super fun. In this lighting, it doesn't look like I'm striping, but in certain lights and certain angles, you can really see the subtleness of the stripes. I wish I could show you, but I don't think I'd be able to see. Like, maybe kind of, sort of. It's so much fun. I'm really enjoying it. So this was a not impromptu, I've been thinking about it for a long time. It was a cast on I finally decided to cast on, and I'm so happy with how much I'm enjoying it. So that's another work in progress. I would very much like by this time next week, to at least separate for the yoke, if not be further. I would like to have the front done of the Sweet Summer top, and maybe the other sock of that pair. Probably not. I do want to cast on, I need to cast on a vanilla sock or something small like that, because we just have a lot of errands and appointments to go to in the coming days, so I obviously need something simple to take with me, you know, and all those feel kind of like on the larger side. So yeah, so I do need to make a vanilla pair of socks. You know, what can you do? So maybe that pattern sock won't get done, but that's okay. I do have a little bit of design news to talk about. By the time you're seeing this, it'll be Friday. This Tuesday, I will be coming out with my granny wrap pattern, which I've showed here on the podcast. This pattern is using the granny stitch and granny squares to make this beautiful lightweight summer wrap. It's so much fun. I love this wrap. I've made 2 versions. I kind of want to make another one, to be honest. I wanted to mention here because the pattern is going to be released on Tuesday, and for the first 24 hours of the pattern, you will be able to download the PDF version of the pattern in my Ravelry Shop for free. There will be a special code. You can get that code through Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at the FreeFormKnitter, so you can have access to that code. Or you can also, if you really don't want to miss it, you can sign up for my newsletter. I have a newsletter. The link for that is down below in the description box. The newsletter, every week I just send out updates about, you know, the new videos here on my YouTube channel, a pattern highlight, the pattern highlight for this coming week of newsletter is the granny wrap. And so if you're afraid of missing the coupon code, if you sign up for my newsletter, you will get access to another code, like the same code. You'll have it for longer, so you won't miss out on that pattern release. Words are not my strong suit, if you haven't noticed. So that's coming soon. I'm super excited for that. Be sure to follow me on Instagram because I share like a lot more information about the upcoming pattern. A lot of videos, you know, showing details about it, talking about it. So I am the Freeform Knitter on Instagram, so be sure to follow me there. That is everything I have to talk about this podcast episode. Thank you so much for joining me. If you could take a moment to comment down below something you were working on, I would love to hear about it. I love hearing other people talk about their projects. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Happy crafting!